Okay. Hi, I'm Craig Tieal, and I'm running for the District Campaigns and Involvement in the upcoming SEC elections. Basically, I think you should vote for me because I've been quite heavily involved within the Students' Union since my first year. I've been involved in numerous campaigns. I've done lots of charity work for the SU so far, and basically I've got a bunch of good policies that I'd really like to, and campaigns in mind, I really want to enforce to try and help improve the Students' Union as much as possible.
Okay, cheers, Craig. You mentioned campaigns.
Sure.
I didn't see any of the campaign this year. Is that something that voters
Are these
already
the national demos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the local demos.
The local demos. The one in Noby?
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't do that one because I had a lecture to
Okay.
go to. And also with the national demo in London, regrettably I really wanted to go, but I couldn't just because the personal circumstances meant that I couldn't get to London, or I just couldn't go.
Sure, okay. Otherwise you say you're a very involved campaigner.
Mm-hmm.
And people agree with that.
Oh, I should hope so.
Okay, right. And so another thing to talk about freshers involved, getting a lot of freshers involved.
Yes, absolutely.
They're not involved enough, you say?
I don't think so, because in my first year,
even though when they get involved to the union, they get a welcome pack, they get a welcome talk, we go to halls to welcome them, we have welcome stuff down here for them, we have a freshers fair, yet when a new postgraduate comes here, we don't do anything.
Well, the postgrads and freshers are both part of my manifesto that I want to try and get as involved as possible. In my first year, or mostly the first term, I didn't really have a clue what was going on. I mean, I knew what was going on, but I didn't know how I could get involved in. I didn't even know Parliament really existed until someone came up to me and said, "Oh, vote for me." And because I was a fresh, I was young and naive, I was like, "Okay." But then, similarly with postgrads, like I said, not enough is really done to try and include them as much as possible. Freshers, there's more emphasis placed on freshers, and albeit that's good, but they're still not involved as much as I'd like them to be. But I got involved just because I knew people that were already involved, so that's how I did.
Okay.
But I don't think it's the same freshers, and postgrads similarly. Pardon me. Postgrads, I'd like to try and, it's a similar scheme to the freshers, giving them more information via email or welcome packs and that sort of thing to try and get them involved and know that it's their union too.
But the majority of postgrads, 51% of people are postgrads here, the majority of which are PGTs, they're only here for a year or so.
Sure.
And it just seems that an election pledge where you're promising to look after those who are pretty well looked after. Because bear in mind, not only the union looking after them, the university got the upper halls, the great pastoral care that we pride ourselves on. It seems that these postgraduates get shoved into halls like Nixon Court, which is not quite as good, welcoming as OB, and maybe you're misdirecting and you're just looking after a minority that are already pretty well looked after.
Well, albeit they are older and wiser, and they are quite looked after. However, like I said, it's also meant to be their union too, and they are just they make up 51%.
Yes, I'm saying that you're just looking after the 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds that are already very well looked after by a union, and you're just discarding the people coming in for a one-year course, masters.
No, I think that I don't want to discard them for that. I want to get them in, like as much emphasis placed on the postgrads as on the freshers.
Okay, so you don't welcoming program for postgraduates?
Yeah, exactly. There's one for the international students, for example, the whole international welcoming committee, and there's the freshers fair. It's not called the postgrad fair, but still there.
So you'd like to have a separate? Would it be separate, or would it be part of?
Oh, right, a more integrated part of the whole freshers fair.
Okay.
And because it is called freshers fair, so there's more emphasis placed on the freshers and not necessarily the postgrads.
Okay, because I mean, imagine if you went now to another university in your mid-20s, and you've been there and done it, you probably wouldn't want to go back and have all the hassle of freshers fair again. When you're doing, because you get treated a lot better as a postgrad by university.
It's a more close relationship integration, isn't that? Yeah. That I agree with, but that's not to say, like I play for the lacrosse team, for example, and we have 3 or 4 postgrads on our team, and they all live in the halls like Opal Court and Nixon, that sort of thing.
Right.
That's still not to say, albeit they have done all before, and joined the societies, but I would encourage them basically to join clubs as they did if they did do an
social integration.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Do you feel you have enough experience as an undergraduate to know what it's like being a postgraduate?
Well, because I'm not a postgraduate, I wouldn't know. But because I say a handful of postgrads, not a huge amount. I do know a handful of postgrads, and I get along with them great. So, I play sport with them, and we go on socials together. And so, because I can do that with a few people, so why isn't it the same with all of the postgrads?
Sure. Okay. So let's take it. Because the welcome scene is a big part of your manifesto. You have other great things like you've got the environmental stuff seems really good, but it seems that welcoming is a big part of your manifesto. So how do you plan on welcoming those who don't come onto campus to to our
As
university.
in the distance learners?
This learn part-time students who get put in the satellite campus.
A lot of that I think is going to have to be down to online ways. The Students' Union website, for example, is great. I remember you've launched the first online forum with the campus. Yeah. But to be honest, I have no idea where it is. I can't find it. And since I can't find it, my whole thing is the distant learners and international students can't find it as well. So that's one thing I'd like to try and improve the whole links in communication with us and them, so that even if it's as simple as a welcome email saying this is who we are, this is what we do, and then so say links in the email, or just directing them to the website and whatnot, and where they can find all the resources.
Do you think it's a bit strange that so distant learners, average mid-career professionals, so mid-30s, sorry, find it weird that the person running their institution is 21, 22 years old?
I don't think so, because I mean, I've this term, all year in fact, I've been English department PAL, so a peer assistant learner, and one of my main people in my PAL group was a mature student, so he was in his 40s, and quite often he would, if I bumped into around campus, he and I would just have general conversations. He would talk to me about my dissertation, and I'd ask him how he's getting on, and it was informal, and there wasn't the whole divide, like, you know, I'm younger, but I'm giving you advice.
Okay.
And so I think it's no problems with the exact same with distant learners.
So they can learn from your experience being a student for longer than they have been.
Yeah, well, I hope so. He was more than happy to take my advice, and you know, because we're both students and peers, we could just talk generally.
Okay. How about the students then at Vaughan College? That a lot of the complaints we get is that they find the main campus intimidating. Like, especially if you're doing a foundation year, you left school at 16, and you come to university to do a foundation degree later on in your life, and you find you've gone from what you see as school, and then to find this is what intimidates. How do you get over that?
Well, I can see exactly why I think that. So obviously they're kind of, I say, isolated on their own separate campus, I suppose. It's just a whole matter of trying to integrate them, but that's the problem, to try and stop the whole intimidation that they're receiving.
Okay.
How to do that, I'm not entirely sure, perhaps. But I invited them to Parliament. It's one thing that I've been trying to do people have been trying to do for the past few years, whether it's providing transportation for them to actually come to Parliament.
Do you think part of make it worse, the fact that you've gone from an intimidated campus into an environment which is a meeting which is based around scrutiny and arguments? That the point of Parliament is to have a go at the SABs and scrutinise the union, and then to bring them into that environment might make things worse?
Well, it could make it worse, but then arguably it could also make it better as well, because it gives them a chance to, like you said, give their argument with the SABs in fact, and they can say, well, we feel intimidated because of this, and because we're so isolated, so that could be a way for them to, I suppose, vent some steam and get back to the SABs, and then that could be a point rather for the SABs to then target and go out and say, okay, we see how you feel, so this is what we're going to do to try and improve it.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for your time, Craig, and great. Good luck in the campaign.
Great. Thank you very much.